Welcome back to Takeout. Thank you for spending time with us, hanging out with us. The Economist Intelligence Unit has released its annual report on the state of global democracy. The headline for 2025 might be better than you think. The report outlines the end of what it refers to as a democratic recession. You can see it on the chart on your screen. That's because 85% of the world's democracies, covers about 40% of the world population, either held steady or improved in their democratic strength. Constance Hunter joins me now. She is the chief economist for the Economist Intelligence Unit. Constance, great to have you with us. Let me help my audience understand how you measure this. This is your index measures for democracy. Put them up on the screen, control room. Electoral process and pluralism, functioning of government, political participation, political culture, civil liberties. Why was this a marginally better year globally than the year before?
Sure. It was a better year because we saw improvements in scores in political culture and functioning of government. The other thing is that we had seen deterioration in those full and flawed democracies, the top scores in our four-pillar index. And those countries all showed, as you said, 85% were the same or improved. And then if we look at the lower part of the index, authoritarian regimes and hybrid regimes, we also saw some improvements in hybrid regimes. We saw 5 hybrid regimes move up into that flawed democracy category, which is not something we have seen in recent years.
The United States dropped 6 places, now ranked 34th overall in your democracy scale. Why?
Well, a number of reasons. We saw a decline in civil liberties. We saw a decline in the effectiveness of government. And those are two key scores that lowered the US this year. And just so you know, we're tied with Poland and we are neighbors with Latvia, which scores just above us, and Botswana, which scores just below us.
Political participation is part of your measurement. In the Trump era, and I've chronicled this every election, participation, presidential elections, midterms, off the charts. And functioning of government, the Trump White House would say, is it's a high-functioning government.
Well, some of that is determined by the transparency of government. And so we've certainly seen a reduction in governmental transparency since Trump's second term. And whether we count this as the mass firings that we saw under the DOJ program, or the type and amount of information that people have access to, the removal of journalists from the Defense Department, the attacks on journalism that have been seen from this administration all reduce the transparency and the functioning of government.
And very, very quickly, how would it factor in, if at all, if someone says, I'm going to do these things, they're voted into office and they do them, meaning this is what I often hear from the Trump White House. We said we were going to do these things. You may not like them, but we said we were going to do it. We got voted in.
So that's absolutely a valid defense from the Trump White House. I think one of the things that we might see is an increase in political participation here in these midterms, right? We have things like we got the PC prices this morning. We saw an increase in prices due to tariffs. I think this is going to bring people out to the polls, and we'll see if all of those points are things that people agree with the Trump administration on.
Decades I have been a subscriber. I love The Economist. Constance Hunter, thank you very much. I appreciate it.